Welcome to In Memoriam, the final spotlight.
It's the headline every movie lover knew was coming, but that doesn't really make it any easier. Yesterday, February 15th, 2026, we lost a true titan. Robert Seldon Duvall passed away.
95 years old. And, just calling him a movie star feels a little small, doesn't it?
It really does. It undersells it. When you're talking about a career that spans 7 decades, you're looking at the history of American acting itself.
He was what they called an actor's actor.
Exactly. And for good reason. He was the ultimate chameleon. One minute he's the quiet conciliary, the next he's a Texas Ranger, then a country singer, a preacher. He didn't just play the parts, he seemed to evaporate into them.
And that's really our mission for this deep dive. We're not just going to list his movies. We want to get into the how. The craft, the contradictions, and the philosophy of a man who said acting was simply talking and listening.
It sounds so simple when he says it.
Mm-hmm.
But achieving that simplicity was, well, it was anything but.
So let's go back to the beginning, because I always picture him with, Texas dust on his boots. But he started out as a Navy brat.
Right, a completely different world. His father, William Howard Duvall, was a rear admiral. So you've got that strict military discipline baked in from the start.
That his mother was the opposite.
His mother, Mildred Hart, was an amateur actress. So you have this perfect conflict right there at the dinner table. The discipline and the art.
And wasn't there a connection to Robert E. Lee?
A direct descendant on his mother's side, which is it's almost too perfect, considering he'd later play Lee in Gods and Generals.
Wow. But it wasn't an easy start for him, was it, academically?
Oh, not at all. He said it himself. He was terrible at everything but acting, just barely got through school. His father wanted him in the Naval Academy, of course.
Bet that wasn't going to happen.
No. He did his time in the Army, 1953 to 54, but then he took the GI Bill straight to New York.
The neighborhood playhouse.
The Mecca. And this is key to his whole method. He studied under Sanford Meisner.
So explain that a little. That's not the method, right? It's different.
It's very different.
Yeah.
Meisner isn't about dredging up old pain. It's about living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. It's all about what the other person is giving you.
It's about reacting.
Precisely.
Oh.
You listen, you react, you don't act. And that's Duvall's superpower. He's always so present, which makes him feel unpredictable, even a little dangerous on screen.
And the people he was learning this with, that New York apartment situation is just legendary.
Well, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Robert Duvall, Dustin Hoffman, and Gene Hackman, all roommates, all broke.
Can you just imagine the arguments over who has to do the dishes?
And they were struggling.
Mm-hmm.
The studios wanted guys who looked like Rock Hudson. These guys looked like real people. They called them the dustbin generation.
It's just so sad to think, with Gene Hackman passing last year in 2025, that whole generation, that chapter, it feels completely closed now.
It really does. But that struggle is what made them so good. They brought a grit to the screen that hadn't been there before.
And for Duvall, that grit paid off in a huge way in 1962, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Talk about a debut. He's Boo Radley.
Hmm.
And he has 0 lines of dialogue.
Not one.
Not one word. He had to show a whole life of pain and kindness and isolation just with his body and his eyes.
How did he even get that part?
The screenwriter, Horton Foote, saw him in a play and knew he was the guy. Foote later called him our #1 actor. That relationship was everything for him at the start.
Okay, so let's jump forward a bit to the role that really cemented him in the cultural consciousness forever. We have to talk about The Godfather.
Tom Hagen.
Yeah.
And I think this is the perfect example of that Meisner training we were just talking about.
How so? He's so quiet in that film.
Exactly. Think about the energy around him. You've got Sonny, who's just explosive. You have Pacino's intensity, Brando's gravitas, and then there's Duvall. He's the silence in the middle of all that noise.
He's the eye of the hurricane.
He is. There's that great line where he's talking to the studio head, Jack Woltz, and he says so calmly, "Mr. Woltz, I have not threatened you."
And it's the most threatening line in the whole movie.
Because the implication is that if he had threatened him, Woltz would already be gone. It's just a masterclass in underplaying.
Which brings up the big question, why wasn't he in part 3? Tom Hagen's absence is like a giant hole in that movie.
It came down to respect, a salary dispute.
Yeah.
He basically said, look, if they paid Pacino twice what they paid me, that's fine, but not 3 or 4 times.
He knew his worth.
He absolutely did.
Yeah.
And honestly, given how part 3 turned out, maybe he dodged a bullet.
Maybe so. But if Tom Hagen was this coiled, quiet power, his next big, iconic role was the absolute opposite, Apocalypse Now.
Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Smelled like victory. The delivery is just so casual, almost wistful.
And the look of the character is a story in itself.
Oh, yeah. The details are amazing. He's wearing a cavalry Stetson, which is a throwback to the 1860s. He's got the yellow cavalry scarf.
A surf t-shirt.
A surf t-shirt. In the middle of a war zone. Because his real priority isn't the battle, it's the waves. Charlie, don't surf.
It tells you everything. This guy is completely insane, completely disconnected from the danger.
It's larger than life, but he makes it feel real. It's absurd, but you believe it.
And then, just a few years later, he does a complete 180. 1983 Tender Mercies, the Oscar win.
Right. From the absurdity of Kilgore to the quiet brokenness of Max Sledge, a washed-up country singer. And this is where you see the sheer dedication. He insisted on doing all his own singing.
No dubbing.
Put it in his contract. No dubbing. And to prepare, he drove a van over 600 miles around Texas, just recording people's accents. He'd play in local bars to get the feel of it.
But I read the shoot itself was pretty tense.
Very tense. He and the director, Bruce Beresford, clashed constantly. Beresford even walked off the set at one point. But Duvall stayed in character the whole time. His co-star, Tess Harper, said she never met Robert Duvall, only Max Sledge.
Wow. He was just in the zone.
And it worked. The performance is heartbreaking. It proved he didn't need explosions to own the screen.
It seems like that Texas experience really stuck with him because it leads right into the role he considered his personal best.
Lonesome Dove. Augustus McCrae. He called it his Hamlet.
Which is a bold thing to say about a TV miniseries character.
It is, but think about Gus McCrae.
Mm.
He's funny, he's violent, he's romantic, he's a philosopher. The role uses every single tool Duvall had. And in Texas, I mean, that show is like the Bible.
People name their kids Gus.
Kids, pets, you name it. And the work he put in was real. He did his own horse work.
Wow.
There's that amazing story from the set.
The bucking horse.
Yeah. They're filming a scene with gunfire, and the horse he's on gets spooked for real, starts bucking like crazy. Anyone else would yell to cut.
Or just got him thrown.
Right. But Duvall rides it for a few seconds, gets it under control, jumps off, and just looks at the director and says, keep it.
Keep it.
His reasoning was, it really happened that way. That's the Meisner training. Live truthfully. Incorporate the accident. Gus McCrae would handle the horse.
That perfectly explains his whole philosophy. But he had that other theory, too, the percentage theory.
Yeah, this is fascinating. He believed no character is just one thing. So he'd think, okay, today this guy is 80% negative, 20% positive, but tomorrow, maybe something happens and it flips.
So no one is 100% villain or 100% hero.
Exactly. He said it has to come from you. You have to find the part of yourself that connects to that character and just turn up the volume on that percentage. That's why his characters feel so human and inconsistent, just like real people.
That feels incredibly honest. Let's talk about the man himself, because his personal life had some pretty cinematic moments. His fourth marriage to Luciana Pedraza.
It's a real meet-cute story. He's in Argentina. He wants to buy some flowers, but the flower shop is closed.
Okay.
So he wanders into a bakery next door. And there she is. If the florist had been open, they never would have met.
That's incredible. And there was a big age difference.
31 years. But they just clicked. They shared a birthday, January 5th, and they shared a passion for the tango.
Wait. Robert Duvall was a tango dancer.
A very, very good one. He owns studios. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Tango is all about that nonverbal talking and listening with a partner.
That's a great point. And they were active in other ways, right?
Very. They even practiced Brazilian jiu-jitsu together.
You're kidding me.
Nope. He just refused to slow down. They started a children's fund for northern Argentina, the place where they met. He was also a big preservationist in Virginia, fighting a Walmart development near a Civil War battlefield.
And we have to mention The Apostle. That was his baby.
That is the ultimate Duvall project. He wrote it, directed it, and when no studio would touch it, he financed it himself.
Because it was about that contradiction again, right? The sinner and the saint.
100%. A preacher who is genuinely faithful, but also commits a violent murder. It's a complex, messy, human character. It showed he was never just an actor for hire, he was a creator.
And now that creative life has come to an end. He passed away peacefully at his ranch in Virginia with Luciana there.
And his final wishes were so perfectly him. No big Hollywood funeral.
What did he ask for?
He just wanted people to honor him by watching a great film, telling a good story around a table with friends, or taking a drive in the countryside.
Simple human connection. It's perfect.
It really is. And With him and Hackman both gone now, it truly feels like that dustbin generation is gone. That link to a different kind of stardom is broken.
He could be grand playing a general, but he could also be so common as a cowboy. You felt like he was one of us.
He understood the whole spectrum of what it is to be human.
So, as we wrap up, what's the one thing you think listeners should take from Robert Duvall's life and work?
I think it's something he once said about acting. Between action and cut. It's a nice world, but you can't force that any more than you can force it in life.
You just have to let it happen.
You do the work, you prepare, but in the moment you just have to be there, listen and respond.
To you listening, thank you for joining us for this tribute. Tonight, maybe take his advice. Watch Lonesome Dove. Watch The Godfather. See a master at work.
Or just go for that drive in the country.
Exactly. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.